This is Yair David speaking to you from Jerusalem, the capital of Israel. I'm speaking to you on behalf of Brit-Am, Hebrew nations. We are discussing biblical place names in the USA. We say that amongst the USA are a large number of descendants of the lost tribes of Israel. In fact, most of the lost tribes of Israel were to be found in Western nations, and today possibly half of them, or even more than half, are to be found amongst the population of the USA. Others are in Canada, others in Australia, New Zealand, the British Isles, Ireland, France, Belgium, Holland, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Finland and Switzerland. That is where the lost tribes are to be found. And the USA is very important in our times. The USA represents the concentration place of the tribes of Israel in our times, and we are analysing the place names in the USA amongst different USA place names along different American states. We're analysing different place names that have some type of association with the Bible, and we are trying to draw tentative conclusions from these place names. And this aspect of our research is speculative, it is quaint, it is cute. It doesn't have to be taken seriously, even though it may lead to serious conclusions. We'll see. In the meantime, we're just going through the names, and incidentally we're reminding ourselves of the biblical significance of these names, and this in itself is worthwhile. It's interesting. The present state that we are considering is Arizona. Arizona was conquered by the USA from Mexico in 1847. Arizona has about 27% Mexicans, 16% Germans, 10% Irish, 10% English, Italian, about 5%, according to the ancestry of the composite populations. It has a great many Amerindians as well, the Navajos and Apaches and so on. And the total gross product of the state of Arizona has a larger economy than Ireland, Finland and New Zealand, which are all important states in their own right. The population of Arizona is about 5,600,000. So this makes it quite an important area. So going through the different place names, the different counties of Arizona. In the northeast we have Apache County. In Apache County we have Emmanuel Mission. Emmanuel, or Emmanuel as it is sometimes pronounced, means God is with us. It is recorded in the book of Isaiah. The name Emmanuel is recorded in the book of Isaiah. It says in Isaiah 7 verse 14, "For the Lord himself will give you a sign, behold the virgin or the young woman in Hebrew, Alma, shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel," meaning God is with us. According to the simple flow of the story, the prophet was referring to a daughter or a wife of King Ahaz, or possibly to one of his own daughters. It's not certain. We have to look at the story to see what he is exactly talking about. He's talking about a woman who was known to both of them at that time. Later, this expression was explained to mean a reference to the Messiah. So that's another point that others can consider. Another place that we have in this region of Apache, this county of Apache, is St. Michael's. Michael was the guardian angel of Israel, as we find in the book of Daniel. We have a place called Adamana. Adamana was the first man. We have Allentown, and Allen, or Elon, was the clan name amongst the tribe of Zebulun. We also have Cochise County in the southeast. Cochise County is a place named Galana. We don't exactly know what this name Galana originally meant, but it is similar in sound to the Golan Heights. The Golan Heights in northern Israel, in the territory of Manasseh. And the Romans referred to the Golan Heights and the region around it as Gaulonitis, which reminds us of the place Gaul in France. In the north central area of Arizona we have Coconino County. In the north central region, Coconino County. I don't know how they pronounce it, but that's how it's spelled, Coconino County. We have Jacob Blake. Jacob is another name for Israel. Israel was also known as Jacob. The 12 tribes of Israel are named after Israel. We've also a place called Lost Eden. Eden was the name, the Garden of Eden was the name of paradise, the biblical story, but it was also later a place named Brit-Am in the northern area of Syria, which at one stage pertained to Asher and Manasseh, and that was also known in Hebrew to the Hebrews as Eden, or Beit-Eden. So the name may somehow or other be able to be associated with Syria. We also have Aqaba tank and Mount Aqaba. I don't know what this name Aqaba means, but we have in Israel, in the region of Israel, in Jordan, where Eilat, east of Eilat, and the south east of the Strait of Israel, have the port of Eilat on the Gulf of Aqaba. We have the Gulf of Aqaba, and we have the port of Aqaba in the present day state of Jordan. It should belong to Israel, or in the future it will do. It's rightfully territory of Israel, and it was once in the province. It was once in the province of Reuben. We also have Ariel Point in Coconino County. Ariel is another name for Jerusalem. It's also the name of a clan in the tribe of Gad. Ariel, Arieli, Arieli, Arieli. And the name Arieli or Ariel means line of God. And then we have in the center of Arizona, we have the county, Gila County. Gila in Hebrew connotes rejoicing, we shall come rejoicing. And then we have Graham County in the southeast, where we have Eden. Once again, Eden, the name of paradise, but also a place in northern Syria, the territories of Asher and Manasseh. We have a place in Graham County named Lebanon. Lebanon was to the north of Israel. It was also in the territories of Asher and Manasseh. We have a place named Solomon. King Solomon, the son of David, ruled over all Israel. La Paz County in the west of Arizona, we have a place named Salome. Salome is the Hellenized feminine form of the name Solomon. Solomon was the king of Israel, and he belonged to the house of David, which came from Judah. In the south center of Arizona, we have Maricopa County. We have Avondale. Avondale, the name Avondale could come from the name Avon, which resembles several place names in Israel, the nation Israel. For instance, we had Bet-Avon in Benjamin, on the border with Ephraim. We also have a Bethany Grand Mobile Home Park in Maricopa County, and Bethany Villa Adult Mobile Home Park also. And Bethany was on the outskirts of Jerusalem. Bethany is a name found in the New Testament, not found in the Old Testament, but it was in the land of Israel. It was in the area of Judah. Kingdom of Judah is located on the southeast slope of the Mount of Olives. Some identify it with Anana, which is a village, an outpost of Bethel, which is mentioned in the book of Nehemiah, in chapter 11, verse 32. We have Maryvale, a Maryvale terrace. Mary is a form of Miriam. Miriam was the sister of Aaron and Moses, and they came from the tribe of Levi. And then we have San Gabriel. Gabriel, the name Gabriel means God is my strength. Gabriel, El meaning God. And Gabriel, the angel, Gabriel explains the dreams of Daniel to him, as we are told in the book of Daniel, chapters 8 and chapters 9. Northwest we have Mojave County, where we have a place named Bullhead City. The bull was a symbol of Ephraim. We have Davis Dam, and Davis is short for Davison, meaning son of David. King David came from Judah. We have Job's Landing. Jobs is apparently a form of the name Job. The book of Job is an important work. The story of Job took place in the area of north of the land of Israel, in the area of land of Uz, which was to the north of the land of Israel, in a region ruled over by Manasseh at a later stage. To the east of Arizona, we have Navajo County, where we have Joseph City. Joseph was the father of Ephraim and Manasseh. And Ephraim and Manasseh were the main tribes amongst the northern 10 tribes. In the south central region, we have Piedmont County, where we have a place named Abra and Abra Valley. And the name Abra sounds like a form of the name Ivri. Ivri meaning Hebrew. And we have Emery Park, and Emery could be a form of Omri. Omri was once the king of Israel. In the south, we have Santa Cruz County. Santa Cruz County. We have Adamsville, Adam named after Adam, the first man. And we have Ruby. Ruby is short for Reuben. And the high priest, when he served in the temple, had a breastplate, and on the breastplate there were gems. One gem, certain particular gem, specific for each specific tribe. And the tribe of Reuben had a red gem known as Adam in Hebrew. And in English, this name is known as Ruby, and perhaps the English form of this name is a shortened version of the name Reuben, because the Adam or the ruby stone was a precious stone associated with Reuben. Now we have this place named Reuben, which we may associate with Reuben, with this place named Ruby, which we may associate with Reuben. In the west central area we have Yavapai County, where we have Abra. Abra too sounds like a possible form of Hebrew, meaning Hebrew. We have Jerome. Jerome is a form of Jeremiah. The prophet Jeremiah was a Cohen from the tribe of Levi, and his hometown was Anathoth in the region of Benjamin. See Joshua 1:18 and 1 Chronicles 6:60. We have a place name in Yavapai County called Jordan, and another place name named Jordan Meadows. The Jordan River, nation Israel, ran down the center of Israel, east of the Jordan, where first the 2.5 tribes of Reuben and Gad, and the half tribe of Manasseh, and later contingents from the other tribes also expanded to the east, and they too received portions in that area, and eventually the whole province, the whole region, stretched up to the Euphrates River and beyond it, and also far to the north and to the south, into what is now Saudi Arabia. In the southwest we have the Yuma County. In Yuma County we have a place named Arabi, named after the Arabs. The Arabs in Hebrew, the Arabs are known as Arab. Arab in Hebrew means mixed, intermixed. The Arabs are a mixture of peoples. Their very name means mixture. One of the forefathers of the contingents that formed the Arab nations was Ishmael. Ishmael was the son of Abraham. And conceptually, we say that Ishmael was a forefather of a good portion of the Arabs. And in some sense, it's all of the Arabs. And this might be understood in the cultural sense, but it also might also have a biological significance. The Arabs existed before Ishmael, but Ishmael intermarried with them. Ishmael joined himself upon them. Ishmael became a dominant person amongst them. He took a lot of women. It may be that his children had more male offspring than others, and somehow or other his offspring came to biologically dominate the Arab nations. And this happens. Peoples change. The physical structure of nations change. It's known. There are examples of it in history. Take Hungary, for instance. The original inhabitants of Hungary were probably Slavs. After that, the Slavs in Hungary, in the area of Hungary, were conquered by the Magyars. The Magyars came from Asia, they were related somehow or other similar to the Turks, perhaps. And they spoke a Magyar language, an Asiatic type language, and their closest language on the peoples they conquered. And afterwards, in the course of history, a great many Germans, people from Germany, from areas of Germany. Germany at that time did not exist, it was broken up into different states, but from the geographical area of Germany, a lot of people moved into Hungary, especially from the region of Saxony, which is not that far away, it's just to the north of Hungary. Anyway, they moved into Hungary, but they moved in contingents, in groups, one group after another. Every time they moved in, as they moved in, they adopted the local language, the local customs, and even the local national consciousness. They identified themselves as Hungarian. They spoke the Hungarian language. They participated in general Hungarian culture, but physically they were the biological descendants of Germans. So that nowadays the present inhabitants of Hungary are physically more the offspring of Germanic peoples than anyone else, even though they don't necessarily realize that, or historians usually ignore this fact. And they often describe the Hungarians as Magyars from some place in Asia, whereas the Magyars, the offspring of the Magyars are present in Hungary, but they're only a very small portion of the population. So that's just a side issue. We just want to point out that peoples change national identities change, or the physical ancestry components of different nations change, and the historians don't necessarily trace it, or we're not generally aware of it in our studies of history. We're not as aware of it as we should be. And so too, it could be that the Mexicans, amongst the Mexicans, Mexicans are derived from Spaniards, people who came from Spain, from local Indians. They took the wives, they wiped out a lot of the local natives and took their women, and they married them. From that we have a good portion of the Mexican people. The Mexicans themselves, a good portion of the Mexicans were descended from Arabs or from Ishmaelites, at least a portion of them were. The whole of Spain, they came from Spain. Spain had once been conquered by North Africans and by Arabs, but they had driven them out. But nevertheless, as they drove them out, they forced a lot of them to become Catholics, and they didn't intermix with them. So some of the Spaniards that conquered Mexico were probably descended from these peoples, from these Arab peoples, and also it might be that some of the Indians or the local inhabitants of Mexico were also descended somehow or other from Ishmael. We have spoken about this elsewhere. We discussed this issue or a related issue in our book Ephraim, where we pointed out that Gad, who was a descendant of Ishmael, was also to be prominent amongst the Mera Indians, the Native American inhabitants of North America. So that's another issue. It's whether, but maybe in the case of Arizona, it has significance. We also find in Yuma County a place called Asher. Asher, the tribe of Asher, was an Ishmaelite tribe located in the north, in the area known today as Lebanon. And these are the names that we found. These are the names that we found in Arizona, and the names above do not show any particular strong pattern. But there is a tendency towards the tribes on the periphery of ancient Israel, Gad and Reuben to the east, Asher and Manasseh to the north, to have their place names recalled somehow or other in Arizona. And it could be, as we said, that a portion of the Mexican peoples are descended somehow or other from Ishmael, and Ishmael in ancient times bordered the periphery of the Israelite tribes. He bordered Gad and Reuben and Asher and Manasseh, and many biblical names in the state of Arizona. Some of the biblical names in the state, there aren't that many biblical names to start with, but some of these names, particularly important portion of these names in Arizona, relate to Gad and Manasseh, and Reuben and Asher, and they were adjacent to the Ishmaelites, and maybe the same other reflects the situation of Arizona as against Mexico. And perhaps the Palestinian Arabs in the land of Israel who are giving us a lot of trouble, perhaps they should be resettled in Mexico. We could economically compensate Mexico. It might be worth Mexicans a while to volunteer to rehabilitate and to accept Palestinian settlers who work quite well and are quite intelligent when they are by themselves, and perhaps this could solve a lot of problems for a lot of people and help everyone. So this is all worth considering. Thank you very much. This is Yair Davidi. I've been speaking to you from Jerusalem, the capital of Israel. I've been speaking to you on behalf of Brit-Am Hebrew Nations. Thank you.